The best way to save Doctor Who is to get a white man.
Breaking right now. The British bashing corporation, the BBC, have just exterminated Doctor Who after allowing the iconic sci-fi drama to go woke. And by the way, they didn't just go a little bit woke. This was woke on speed. So this was reported in The Sun today. Of course, the series had been experiencing abysmal ratings because of the way that they shoehorned wokery into its storylines. Not to mention that the new Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, has to be one of the most woke stars in show business altogether. Of course, maybe slightly better than the last Doctor, who was a woman. But what's so interesting about this is that this series of Doctor Who was meant to be the time it went massive, given the fact that Disney Plus had done a multi-million deal to screen the show all around the world. However, the ratings have absolutely plummeted. I mean, here in the UK, the overnight figures, and remember the budget for the show is massive, have been just between 2.25 million and 3.18 million, a fraction, a tiny fraction of what they used to pull in, especially given that it was the 60th anniversary of the show. So, what killed off Doctor Who? It was another case of go woke, go broke. Let me give you some of the examples. The 60th anniversary episodes actually kicked off with a plot involving a character who was able to save London because they were trans. Another saw the Doctor realise he was gay after developing a crush on Sir Isaac Newton. And actually, the full series, and remember this is a series that has been marked by the return of Russell T Davies as the creator, another uber woke guy, has had plots slamming everything from capitalism to Christianity, and even introduced a new enemy played by, wait for it, a drag queen. So, based and bougie, maybe it's just time to say goodbye to Doctor Who, because no one wanted this iconic British series to go woke apart from the BBC, who seem to have killed off one of their biggest cash cows.
I think wokeism is the most racist ideology that's out there. Reason being is because this idea that Black people can't have their own characters, can't have their own fictional stories, can't have their own storylines is actually racist. When I grew up, growing up for me personally, I feel like the Black media was progressing in the sense that we saw so many of these original characters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, Sister, like we had these original storylines. And now what has happened in Hollywood or just the media space with this whole woke ideology is now we have regress now. And now we think that Black people can either be slaves, they can either be gangsters, or they have to be Churchill, James Bond, or Doctor Who. It's not necessary. Black people can have their own fictional characters. Black people can have their own stories. The fact that these woke people think that Black people are so boring that they have to play Doctor Who, they have to play Churchill, they have to play James Bond, that's why they are going broke. And I just feel as though we need to go back to being original. For example, Wakanda. Wakanda was so successful. The reason why it was because it was a new character. It was an original idea. Everybody loved it. It was super successful. But why we keep forcing Black people to play white roles makes no sense. If a person decided, let's get a white person to play Martin Luther King, the world would literally stop. So I'm sick and tired of it. It's boring and it's just never going to work.
Yeah. White Martin Luther King. Certainly, if you wanted to be cancelled, just suggest that. Well, a Abandoned account actually posted on this Doctor Who news, go woke, go broke. David Tennant should pay heed. No one wants to be bashed on the head on how horrible they are for daring to uphold biology or agreeing with democracy, even when it doesn't go your way. For example, Trump. And he is referring to the fact that David Tennant, and I pointed this out on Sunday night, was the most, and remember he's a former Doctor, so he's part of this whole Doctor Who woke world, was the most awful, terribly politically correct, woke host of the BAFTAs in history, only seemed to make jokes about Donald Trump that felt like they were 8 years old. And remember, this is the bloke who actually put out the idea that Kemi Badenoch, the Conservative Party leader, should be exterminated. Watch. But first, you know how often I talk about the need for free speech to be protected, but I've been thinking a lot lately about the need for personal protection online from snoopers, bad actors, and hackers. But don't worry, I have found the fail-safe solution. And what's more, this VPN is a life changer when it comes to providing you entertainment and information from anywhere in the world, wherever you are. So let me introduce you to Surfshark, an incredible, easy-to-use service that encrypts all your internet traffic, meaning your online activities stay safe, allowing you to shop, to stream, to browse, to conduct your banking online in complete privacy. But the benefits of Surfshark go way beyond keeping you safe online. This service allows you to access your favorite entertainment or news shows or channels, or access, by the way, to streaming services like Hulu, iPlayer, HBO Max, and Peacock. Or if you've got a streaming service already, but your favorite show happens to be geo-blocked, maybe on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, within seconds, you can actually be watching as if you are in another country. This is such a good service. Really helps, by the way, if you're traveling for work or on holiday and you want to get your favorite local content from home, including sports, which is very often subject to geo-blocking. Plus, Surfshark has an insurance policy against creeping censorship in many countries which block some of these services. Effectively, you can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. It is true freedom. There's also so much you can do with VPNs, right? It's a way to save you money and get the best deals from websites that change their prices depending on where you're buying from. So you can actually sign in to multiple countries and check the price before buying. There are other benefits too. Surfshark is available to use on unlimited devices, which means your entire household, so your husband, your wife, your kids, can stay safe with just one subscription. And there are over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries, meaning a world of choices at your fingertips with 24/7 customer service if it is your first time using a VPN. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. What's more, Surfshark is so confident they're the best VPN in the world that you can give it a try for a full 30 days. And if you're not entirely satisfied, you will get your money back. So go to www.surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. But now, back to the show.
Shouldn't live in a world where that is worth remarking on. However, until we wake up and Kemi Badenoch doesn't exist anymore, I don't wish ill of her, I just wish her to shut up.
I mean, Sophie Corcoran, that sums up how the woke brigade connected to Doctor Who think. If you don't sign up to their insane leftist ideology, then shut up.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's about one of the most insufferable people in television, along with the guys from the Harry Potter cast that seem to absolutely hate J.K. Rowling, even though they'd have absolutely no careers without her. But that's one of the things I've always sort of found really strange is, and the way that he is referring to Kemi Badenoch is these really privileged, woke, straight white men who just hate any of us that are not like them, but have views that are opposite them. So I'm a woman, and how dare you be conservative if you're a young woman? I mean, how dare you be a conservative if you're black? How dare you be a conservative if you're gay? I mean, you don't own us, right? We've got our own brains. We can think how we want, but this is the thing. They're so bigoted that in their mind, only them, the people who they actually claim to hate, are themselves, by the way, the privileged. They are the exact same thing they accuse you of. Privilege, hateful, self-centered, extremely, small-minded people. Anyone else that doesn't agree with that and who's actually not privileged, because some of us actually have real problems to worry about and not what pronouns that we're called, they don't like. and yet they claim to be the good guys. And in actual fact, they're probably more bigoted than pretty much all of us put together. And they're extremely insufferable, all of them. I've never met a non-insufferable woke rich person. I call them self-hating rich, or the embarrassed rich, as I call them.
Of course, utter woke-topians.
They just hate themselves.
And they do. They absolutely do. And you're completely right. They have no tolerance, which is what they claim to put out into the world. Tennant there showed his true colours. This is a guy who actually doesn't give a damn that Kemi Badenoch is a black woman, which is the type of traits that he would usually think would make you a great person, because he disagrees, because she disagrees with his hard left ideology. Based in Bougie, do you think there's any way to save a show like Doctor Who, or is it just done now?
Yes, the best way to save Doctor Who is to get a white man.
So you just think they need to go back to their roots?
Go back to the roots. Everybody came to watch Doctor Who because it was about sci-fi, it was about horror, it was about adventure. That was literally it. They need to go back to their roots of just getting a white man who can travel in time and who loves science and fiction, and that's absolutely it. What I find so insufferable about the left is that they make, you know, their sexual orientation, their personality, is their brand. We're tired, okay? Just make Doctor Who about science, about time travel. We don't care about these gay storylines. No offense to gay people, but why make your sexuality your brand? That's not what people are watching Doctor Who for. So my best advice is for them to revive the show. They need to get the same characters that they got before, a white man, make him focus on his time traveling and science, and I promise you they will see their views and revenue again.
And the thing is, it's a family show. You know, it's a family show. I don't think all of these uber politicized messages need to be in there. Sophie, I think Based in Bougie is completely right, by the way, about this being a big warning to the producers of James Bond. Because, you know, replacing Daniel Craig is the thing they are so scared about. The pressure is on them. Oh, do we need a female Bond? Do we need a black Bond? And the thing is, actually, just accept that James Bond is a straight white man who likes shagging women. That's why we love the character, and don't mess with the formula. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree. I think we need to sort of do a make Doctor Who again, MAGA style kind of thing. But also, I think with James Bond, just let it be James Bond. If you want to make a cool film with some, you know, woke spy, make a woke spy film. It's like when they made Anne Boleyn black. I mean, she obviously was not black. Like, everyone knows this. You can't just rewrite history and say she's black when everyone knows she's not black. It's like having a white Nelson Mandela. Just doesn't work. If you want to be creative, make a new story. Make a new story if you want to make a new story about a, you know, woke DEI spy. I'm sure there's lots of DEI plane crashes that they can sort of investigate now. Don't try and sort of come up with shoehorning them in as James Bond or Doctor Who. It just doesn't work. It's not creative. I mean, if you're in the film industry, get creative. There's nothing creative about replacing Doctor Who or replacing James Bond. Have a good... I mean, I've actually never watched either of James Bond or Doctor Who, as I am not a nerd, but I also think that they should keep it as it is.
Yeah, I'm not a Whovian. I have to admit, I'm not a Whovian. But by the way, on a slightly tangential note, I just wanted to share with you the way that Billboard Chris, don't know if you guys know Billboard Chris, but he's been a brilliant dad who has campaigned for the rights of women. And he received an approach from the British Bashing Corporation, right? So they messaged him saying, "Hey, Chris," this was via X. "Hey, Chris, I hope this message finds you well. My name is Jill, and I'm with BBC News. We're currently working on a feature for next week's article, and we'd love to include your valuable insights. If you're interested, I'd be happy to discuss the details and compensation for your time. Thank you so much for considering this opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you." Billboard Chris replied, "I have a root canal scheduled every day this week, which is preferable to speaking with the BBC. So I regretfully must decline." And you know what? I just thought, yes, that is what I've been calling for. That is what we need. Do not negotiate with the enemy. Just say no. And I wish more folk on the right in this country would take the approach of Billboard Chris when dealing with the British Bashing Corporation, because trust me, it's never going to work. in your favour.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.